Welcome inside to League on Lock, and believe it or not, for all the struggles that SKT has had in 2018, all they have to do to qualify for Worlds is beat the defending world champions, the upstart rookies who completely dominated the LCK, and the two-time LCK champions in Kingzone, Dragon X, and Best of 5 series, and then they're there. That's all.
Simple task, Untara, he's certainly going to be the guy to carry SKT all the way. No way that they lose these ones.
Easy peasy. It all starts with Gen.G in game 1 of round 1 of the Gauntlet over in the LCK. And Mark mentioned Untara. That's because he's getting the start in game 1. Luckily, it is Faker in the mid lane, but no Tall. He got Blank in the jungle, Effort in at support, and the typical lineup for Gen.G that they use for the majority of the summer split. Faker on the Azir, and game 1 starts as it always does in 2018, Blank dying.
Why, oh why, am I not surprised
over the wall
to see Blank face checking once again and getting caught out and being eliminated, giving an advantage over to Gen.G, which they would continue through here into this part of the game.
Yeah, but you know, you gotta say, maybe he's just looking at the map trying to be proactive. That's why he does all these face checks. There's Faker going to make a play, but he's going to get caught out. And then you got a Chain of Corruption prediction from Ruler to take down Blank as well. But this time, the playmaking works a little bit better for Faker. They disengage from the Galio ultimate, and then they're going to be catching out Ambition on the side. He's all alone. They scoop in the Galio to finish him off. Actually, that's a total whiff on the Emperor's Divide. I don't know what I'm saying there for Faker.
Yeah, it was a bad Emperor's Divide.
It was real bad.
But what was even worse there is Ruler on the Varus couldn't get the stacks of the Rage Blade go in there, gets the 6 autos, and then doesn't attack anything after that point. Fight goes for SKT, and they use that advantage from that fight to keep pushing, and boy, do they ever snowball that advantage into this one.
That was a much better engage from Faker. He died to the turret, but we'll pretend that we didn't see that. SKT overcomes a rough early game. They take game 1. They're not getting swept, Mark. 1-0 up on Gen.G. They looked a lot better than they have for most of 2018 in that one.
Yeah, and you're feeling pretty confident about it because even though they did look better, they're not as clean as you would expect the SK Telecom team to perform. And yet, they have a victory already over Gen.G, so you're feeling pretty confident here. But things turning pretty far south here right away in game 2.
Hey, wait a sec. We're on a different side of the map, and it's still going to be First Blood, and it's Blank, this time on the Trundle. By the way, Crown is in for game 2 after Gen.G loses the first one. We haven't seen much Crown in 2018 summer, and Faker, why are you recalling there?
Bruh, this one is inexcusable from my boy Faker right there. You can't be recalling like that. That one, we've seen Faker have some issues with recalls this year, and it comes back to haunt him in this game.
No chance for the Baron still there for Blank. He gets bopped out by Core JJ. Pretty dominant, one-sided. This time Gen.G rolls that early game advantage into a pretty clean win.
Yeah, and you certainly can't take your eyes off of the disgusting disgrace of a champion that is Zoe that was in the mid lane there.
Fun chance.
As Crown was doing such a phenomenal job controlling the Sleepy Trouble bubbles there, equaling up the series, taking us into game 3.
And in game 3, Crown gets his Vel'Koz, but Faker gets the Irelia. Finally, First Blood goes the way of SKT. Of course, it's Faker in the 1v1.
Yeah, and this is what you've been wanting to see here. Faker with a champion with some agency to it here, able to get some plays off, and this is my SKT right now, making some good proactive plays here early, picking up some huge advantages.
It's a bot lane party. 5-man squad rolls in, grabs the double kill. They knock down the turret as well, and then it's SKT on the Baron. They quickly pull off Untara on the Ornn yet again, 3rd game in a row. He gets the nice knock-up, and SKT, they do not relent. They just keep on chasing this down.
Yeah, if I'm Untara, I'm changing my name to Ornntara right now because that's all you should be playing, buddy. Because you are filthy on this Ornn right now, helping SKT get those advantages there. You saw the Ash Arrow miss. It didn't matter because you got the Ornn going right through, blowing the horn and getting SKT ready to take down Gen.G.
11-1, 23 minutes. Clean win from SKT. Haven't seen a game like that from them in probably all of 2018. Definitely 2018 summer. They're up 2-1, 1 game away, Mark, from advancing to round 2 of the Gauntlet. And heading into game 4, Haru subbing in for Ambition. And this time, Faker takes Crown's Vel'Koz from him.
Yeah, certainly trying to change it up here, but I don't know if this is exactly the type of change-up that you'd be wanting to have if you're SKT.
Oh, but the Vel'Koz laser and the red buff is able to take him down. Blank gets first blood this time. Solid start for them, and they say, let's go right back to Crown on that rise. With no flash, they goon squad him. Look at that, Antara, he's playing Ornn. I've never seen that before, Mark.
Yeah, back on the Ornn, but the issue here this time was just simply not the right engages here from SKT, not the right level of cohesion here with these plays, and it's just not working out.
Faker, there's 5 guys there. You're all alone. They have a Camille.
You're a Vel'Koz.
There's no escape. He's got both his summoners. He shoots the laser for a bit of damage, but it's just to look cool. That would be double buffs, as in Baron and Elder for Gen.G, and then later on they'd fight over this Elder again, and they are way ahead at this point. Look at all those dragons with those buffs. SKT has no chance in this fight. This time Faker does have the flash. He pops the GA, but Ruler flashes in to clean it up.
The problem with this matchup is that this was certainly winnable for SKT. They had the advantages they wanted to have early. They just weren't able to pressure them and snowball them into bigger advantages in that one, and it let Gen.G back into the game, and some unforced errors led them to tying it up and sending us to this all-important game 5.
Yeah, rolled on the silver scrapes. We got a game 5, and we got Blank getting first blooded for the 4th time in 5 games, but luckily they got Faker on Akali against Lissandra, which isn't a great matchup, and Blank isn't dying just once. He's given a few more kills to Crown.
And Blank is just like, hey guys, you still hungry over there at Gen.G? Come on, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Head on over here. It's just incredible to watch some of these feeding plays, and incredible in the bad way, because you're just like, how is this happening? How is this going on from a world championship jungler? Yet, it is happening here. He just sits on a ward and gets caught out, and not enough that SKT can proactively do in that situation.
Now, SKT was down big early, but Faker did get a couple of kills. He had 3 kills on the Akali, was rolling, but here he goes a little too deep. He still has the flash, but the nice flash in from the Gragas to finish him off. They dive too deep to kill Ruler. They give up 2 kills, and Gen.G just ran away with the advantage here. Faker against the Lissandra. They clearly had that pick ready for the Akali, and he could not get anything done.
Yeah, that level of CC that Lissandra can dish
Point and
out
click,
there
baby.
On that Akali really does do a number to her, really limits the type of skill that you can express there, and oh boy, get the music playing, get the hearse ready, get everybody, the funeral for SKT 2018 starts right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Coma says to his players after that, because no Worlds for SKT. The 2nd time it's in Korea. They can't play on their home field at the World Championship. They had quite a run they would have to go through, but you thought maybe they could win a round and give you a little bit of hope, but I mean, they gave you a bit of hope. They went up 2-1, then they lost 2 in a row. There's a lot to pick from. Antara can only play Ornn. He looked a lot worse on the Gnar. Maybe Tall should have gotten the start. Who knows what you're arguing there. Blank, obviously, is the biggest struggle factor for SKT, but even Faker doesn't get off scot-free in this series. He had some questionable plays. That Vel'Koz game in particular, he was underwhelming.
Yeah, certainly a weak performance on the Vel'Koz there, especially from someone that you have to be able to rely upon to give you these star performance, these carry performances every single time. That's what Faker has led us to believe that he's able to do for SKT, and what they needed, especially given the performances of the likes of Blank and Effort today. Faker really needed to carry, and we saw that at certain moments, but at other times we saw him extending too far, trying a little bit too much, and it really was costing SKT in some of those moments, and it ended up backfiring too much.
SKT had that fantastic game 3 where they completely clobbered them, but outside of that, Gen.G was definitely the better team in this series and deserving of going on to round 2 to face Griffin. And for SKT, maybe it's actually for the better that they didn't make Worlds, because now Coma and company, they can't say that this roster is not an issue going into 2019. You got to expect some huge changes with this roster. Maybe if they somehow went on a run to Worlds, they'd be like, fine, see? The roster's great, no problems. We made it to Worlds.
Yeah, you know, the only thing that would be less likely than Blank returning to the SKT lineup next year would be PUBG still surviving as an esport next year.
And what are the chances that Blank retires to go play PUBG. Because there's been a few guys that have done that.
It's certainly possible given the performances that he has had at this year, and especially, again, seeing it rear its ugly head here in the Gauntlet. Just these blind checking, face checking, going through, just not able to make any of these plays work. Feeding the other lanes when your lane has pressure and stuff like that. It's craziness coming through from a jungler that is so accomplished like him. Just really not the performances you need. And at this time, I think as SKT, you got to cut loose.
I'd like to see Blank given another opportunity on a different team that doesn't have the pressure of SKT, but you got to expect some seriously drastic changes for the squad heading forward in 2019.